Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of X-Men 97. It was a two-part episode. It had two stories in it. So let's get into the first one. It was called Motendo. And as it starts, we find that the X-Men are having breakfast with Magneto, and it's a little contentious. But Jubilee breaks the ice by bringing up the fact that it's her 18th birthday. Sadly, the happy doesn't last long, and Magneto poo-poos her idea of everyone going to the arcade for her birthday. So she and Roberto try to make their own fun playing an X-Men video game on a Motendo console in Jubilee's room that she's never seen before. Soon, she and Roberto are in the game, running from Sentinels and being menaced by a slimmed-down Mojo who wants to mesmerize the masses with his 16-bit video game starring Jubilee so he can absorb the energy of the mind-numbed audience. Since the game is a set of scenarios taken from Jubilee's memory, she seems to be enjoying it as a kind of retro fun day down memory lane until she's up against Magneto as a level boss, while Roberto lays wounded, about to blink out of existence. Luckily, she finds him an extra life token left there by someone who's helping them, apparently. And it turns out that the helper is a digital version of an older Jubilee, and she tells real Jubilee she can't get stuck in the past or her youth. Before Mojo shows up, once again hugely fat, and attacks Roberto and the Jubilees, which doesn't go well for him. After defeating him, Roberto and Jubilee are booted from the game, winding up back in Jubilee's room where they smooch, and that's where that part of this episode ends. The next part was a different story called Life Death, which is taken from the comics. And it takes place in a wilderness cabin where Storm and Forge enjoy a meal, while Forge explains his powers to Storm, as well as how he lost his hand and leg, both of which he's replaced with prosthetics, as Storm laments not being able to fly anymore. They go on a horse ride, and Storm notices an owl stuck following a constant east wind. Forge then has Storm get into a machine to restore her powers, but when she tests them, it doesn't seem to have worked. We then learn that Forge had a hand in creating the mutant-powered dampening collars that we've always seen on the show, which upsets Storm, despite his regret over it. He expresses a love for her, but she won't have it, and takes off, but soon finds herself back at the cabin at the hands of a giant owl called Adversary, who is apparently quite evil, which attacks Forge and Storm as the episode ends. So, I didn't care for this episode. The first part, Motendo, is definitely reminiscent of the original X-Men cartoon. They definitely had episodes like that, featuring Mojo, that were kind of just goofy little episodes, and that's fine and everything, but I don't know, it's 2024, and we really need to repeat that kind of lazy little goofy Jubilee-centered episode. I really don't think we needed that. I didn't appreciate it, honestly. It was cool seeing a grown-up version of Jubilee. That was cool. And the retro stuff was fun, you know, the little 16-bit X-Men game kind of animation, but come on, do we really need that? Back in the day when they had 20-episode seasons or whatever, that was fine. You know, they needed to come up with some kind of filler at some point, but what are we going to get? Like 10 episodes this time around? I didn't think it was called for. I thought it was goofy. I thought it was a waste of time, so I didn't appreciate it. The second part of the episode was not as long as the first part, which is unfortunate because it's the better part of the episode. I thought they should have spent more time on this because it's about one of the best characters in the X-Men, which is Storm, and how she's going to get her powers back, which we know is going to happen eventually. I mean, I guess what was there was good stuff, but because it was shorter, due to the other part of the story being part of this episode, it suffered for that, and I'm not happy. I also don't think very much of the Adversary character. It's kind of weird, and I don't understand it. So I don't know, maybe that'll change as time goes on, but like, what the heck is that? What? And is it the same owl she saw before or a different owl? I don't know. We'll find out later, I guess, but I didn't think much of this week's episode. I wish they hadn't done the Jubilee thing. And I don't know, I guess I'm going to have to set my sights on next week and hope it's a return to form where we actually get to see, I don't know, the X-Men. I mean, I know Jubilee's an X-Men, but come on, come on. And Storm, didn't do any X-Men stuff because she doesn't have powers. Can we see the X-Men next week? So yeah, short video. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back with another video soon. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.